Hello, my awesome third grade artists. Today we're starting a new project. We're going to be creating these model magic dragonflies. They're going to be lots of fun. We're going to learn a little bit about dragonflies. So teachers, before you start this lesson, go to YouTube and search for the video. I've got it typed out there in your lesson plans. Dragonfly facts for kids. Learn all about dragonflies. The kids will learn some fun facts about dragonflies before starting this video. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about things before we start. So I love dragonflies. I always have. I think they're really pretty. There's so many different kinds of dragonflies, different colors. Dragonflies are good for our environment. They eat mosquitoes. And so at my house, I have some water that runs in front of my house. And we have lots of mosquitoes in the summer. And dragonflies are great because they come and eat them. And so on a summer afternoon, you'll see lots and lots of dragonflies buzzing around in the air. This is a picture of a dragonfly. This is a really pretty one. Look at its body. A dragonfly is an insect. It has a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. It has 6 legs, if you'll see on there. We're not going to be putting the legs on ours because those would break off easily if we made those with Model Magic. So we're going to leave that off. They have these beautiful wings with these intricate patterns, and we're going to get creative with the patterns that we put on our wings today. And dragonflies, your teachers have this sheet. There are threats to dragonflies. So there's different things that can happen in our environments that will threaten our animals and our insects. And so when people build more and more houses and buildings, that takes away their environment. So it's always good to have places that things aren't built on so that the dragonflies can have their habitat. Pollution, so pesticides, things that people may use to kill plants or like bad plants that they don't like, that can affect dragonflies. So there are environmental threats, and we want to make sure we do all we can to help protect the dragonflies. So to begin with, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a really important element of art that we're using, and that is form. So many times in art class, we do things that are flat. We do drawings, we do paintings, but sometimes we do things that are three-dimensional. They have form, and this is one of those. This you can see is called a sculpture when something is three-dimensional, and you can see on all sides. I do have it glued down on the cardboard, but if I were to hold this in my hand, I could turn it all the way around and see all the sides of it. It has form. Something that's flat is just flat on a piece of paper, but this is something with form, and you're going to be using that when you make your body of your dragonfly. So to begin with, teachers, I've given you all Ziploc bags, and depending on how long it takes your students to make the body of the dragonfly, you may need to let them zip them up in here and stay wet. But if the student finishes the dragonfly in one class period, make sure they write their name on the Ziploc bag, and then they sit it on top of it, and it can dry on that and it will peel off. It won't stick to this Ziploc bag. And then you can save these Ziploc bags because we use them a lot for different things. You can always mark through a student's name and rewrite it for the next project. So try to not just throw these away. All right, so to begin, your students, you're going to be given different colors Model Magic. And you can, it depends on how you want to do this in your class, but whatever color is fine to start with for the body. I'm going to start with blue, and so your body of your dragonfly, you will use one entire pack of Model Magic. So open your pack of Model Magic and get it out. It's probably going to be pretty soft, but if it's not, you can kind of work it in your hands and soften it up. Now we're going to be making the body. Okay, so the body, so look at my piece of cardboard that we're going to be putting this on is about the same size as the Ziploc bag. So your body needs to be pretty, it doesn't need to be as big as the piece of cardboard, but it needs to be pretty close. So you're just going to kind of work it in your hands, and then I like to start by just kind of rolling it into a smooth ball. You can roll it in between your hands like that. You can roll it on the table, however you want to do it. And then you start rolling it out into a long tube shape. So I'm just rolling it between my hands, or I can roll it on the table. Now what happens on this, if you can see, it's fatter at the top and it tapers down. That means it gets skinnier towards the bottom. So we're just going to start rolling. But I'm going to start rolling more. This is going to be my top and this is going to be my bottom. I'm going to start rolling more at the bottom, and that will make it taper down. And see how it's fatter at the top and skinnier at the bottom? And that's about the right size. And so that's going to just be your body. It's real soft right now and movable and pliable, but it's going to harden later. So I'm going to sit that there, and then I'm going to start adding my details. So I'm going to open up. Now, on this part, teachers, you can provide the students with different colors model magic. And the best way to do this is to put this in Ziploc bags so that other classes can use it, because they're only going to need little bitty pieces of it, and they're going to share it like at their tables, okay? So make sure it's sealed in a Ziploc bag in between classes. It will dry, even in a Ziploc bag though, after a week or so, it's going to start to dry out. So you need to be, trying to use as much as you can before it dries out. I'm going to go ahead and open up some red and some yellow. And this is how I'm going to add my details. Now, I don't want you thinking you have to make your details look just like my details. So you be creative. I put some stripes on mine, some dots, the eyes, these two little antennae, because dragonflies, they're not like butterflies. They don't have these big antennae like butterflies. You can barely even see them sticking up there. You can include those. You don't have to, but you see I included them. Now, you're going to have to be real careful. They're going to try to break little thing. Any little thing that you have sticking way out, it's going to break off easily. So you're going to have to be careful with that. So I'm going to start by making my eyes. I think I'm going to have two circles here. So just get a little piece of the red. And I didn't even open up any white, but on this one I put white, but I think I'm just not going to do that for this one. But so I made a little ball, and then I just flattened it, and I'm going to stick it kind of on one side. And when you, on that wet, that Model Magic that's wet, you don't have to even glue it. If you just press it, it's going to stick on there. I'm going to get another one about the same size, roll it into a ball, and then I flatten it with my fingers. And I'm going to put it over here on the other side. And then I'm going to make another little circle inside there. I even did 3 on that one with the white. So you may want to do that. I just didn't want to open up another pack of Model Magic and waste all my Model Magic. So on here, I have made a smaller circle and put it on there. You can even do things like, I have a colored pencil over here in the bottom, and you can press it. You can use other materials to make designs on your dragonfly. I didn't do that on mine, but I would love you to be creative and do stuff like that. Okay, so here's another one, and I'm just flattening it out. I gotta make sure my hands stay on the camera so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, and I'm just gonna show you how I made my stripes. Here's something neat you can do. You can mix colors, but you need to make sure you're knowing what you're mixing. So we already know that yellow and red make what? Orange. So I'm going to take a little yellow, and I'm going to take a little red, and you can just mix those together like this. Now, one fun thing you can do is leave them looking kind of like that, and it will look tie-dye. If you keep mixing, though, it will look more and more orange. So you get to decide how you want to do that. And I'm going to show you. I'm just making these stripes that wrap around the body. I'm rolling them out in my hand. Look how pretty that is. That's tie-dye. Kind of roll them out, and then I just kind of come here and loop them around like this. You don't even have to go all the way around to the bottom because it's going to be glued down right there. So you can make stripes, you can make little dots, just whatever you want to do. I would love for you to be creative and come up with your design for your dragonfly, because we don't want them to all look different. So teachers, remember, put this leftover Model Magic in Ziploc bags. The other kids in other classes as they come can use it. So once you have finished your dragonfly's body how you like it, you will leave it on the top of this Ziploc bag with your name on it to dry somewhere. Don't stack them. They'll squish. They'll stick. Try to find a place in your classroom where you can put them all to dry. So while they're doing that, we're going to work on the wings. So everybody is going to get a piece of this black cardstock. It's already cut to the right size, and what you're going to do is hold it horizontally where the long side is going sideways, and you're going to fold it in half this way. Teachers, walk around and make sure they're folding it in half in the right direction. We're making 4 wings, and I'm going to show you how to do that without having to cut out all 4. We'll just cut out 2. Okay, so typically when we fold something like this, and we cut it out, we're making something symmetrical that will open up. we're making symmetrical wings, but we want to have 2 sets. So we're going to start on the open side. Put the open side on the left here. Open side on the left. Teachers walk around and make sure they're doing that. And we're going to make a top wing and a bottom wing. Now, in the lesson plan, I did say that you could have a template for the wing. Teachers, if you want to make a template, if you have some students that are struggling, you can make a template for the top and bottom wing. But that would be the only thing they trace. They're not going to trace their patterns. But I would love for some of the students, I would love for most of the students to do their own wing. So start on this open edge. That's going to be the side of your wing. And you make a wing shape. The top wing is going to kind of go slant up just a little bit. So I'm going to kind of make it. I'm using my white gel pen. And if you want to start with a pencil and then go back, you can do that. Okay, that's my top wing. And then I'm going to make my bottom wing, and it's going to kind of slant down a little bit. Okay, it doesn't have to look just like that, but go all the way or very close to your edge. And then you're going to cut them out. So I'm going to start cutting on the open side. That's going to give me 4 wings at the end. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to practice what I've learned about cutting, where we turn the paper and not scissors. Look at this curve. I'm turning the paper. Going all around. Okay, that's 2 wings, and I'm going to show you how to make them. You've got to flip one of them to make it turn out right. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. So now I have 4 wings. Now the trick is, though, the wings have to be one going one way and the other going the opposite way. So on the ones where the white is still showing, flip those, and that will be the other side. Flip that one, and that'll be the other side. And there are your 4 wings. Now the next step is to just go inside your wings and make beautiful designs using your white gel pen. Remember, the wings are symmetrical. Symmetrical means they look the same on both sides. So if I come in and I put a curvy line that goes like this, then I'll have to make another curvy line that goes in the opposite direction. It's the same, it's symmetrical. So you're going to need to think about that as you're doing it. Make this one and then make whatever you made on that side. If I make a big curly Q here, going that way, I'm going to make a curly Q here going this way. You can color in some of you, make some of your lines thicker and make some skinny. That's important. Don't color in a whole lot. You want to see a lot of the black, but you see I made some dots. I want you to just kind of think about some beautiful designs that you can do on your dragonfly. So after you get that, then you will have your piece of cardboard already ready. And you can take your, I'm going to move these out of the way. You can take your dry, we're going to pretend like this is dry, your dry body, and you will put a strip of Elmer school glue on it, glue it down, and then you will just put some Elmer school glue on your dragonfly wings and kind of stick those under there. It's okay if they are kind of sticking off the page some. That's no big deal. And then that would go like, actually I wanted to flip that one so I don't see those lines. And like that. And you just glue those down. Okay? And that's really all there is to it. But I think these are going to look really great. This stiff cardboard will help keep everything from warping. I'm going to put these on Artsonia. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. Take your time, have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye.